Giants of ice and thunder, the age of mammoths begins in a world locked in ice, where the wind howled like ancient spirits and the earth itself seemed frozen in time. Titans walked the tundra. They were colossal, shaggy, and unstoppable. The woolly mammoths, true giants of the Ice Age. Long before humankind built cities or dreamed of flight, these beasts ruled the endless white wilderness. Towering nearly 4 meters high and weighing over 6 tons, each step they took thundered across the frozen plains. Their long, curved tusks glistened under the pale northern sun, weapons of survival, tools of power, and symbols of dominance. The air was thick with frost, and the silence of the tundra was broken only by the low rumble of mammoth herds moving as one. Males clashed tusks in violent duels over territory and mates, the sound of bone against bone echoing through the ice valleys like thunder. They were not just survivors, they were architects of the frozen world. With every stomp and every graze, they shaped the landscape, clearing paths through snow, spreading seeds, and maintaining the balance of the vast grasslands they called home. But life for the mammoths was no gentle story. They shared the icy realm with other monsters, saber-toothed cats with fangs like daggers, cave lions stalking from the shadows, and early humans whose eyes burned with curiosity and hunger. To the humans, the mammoth was everything: food, shelter, clothing, even tools carved from bone. To the mammoth, humans were something new, something unpredictable. Still, the herds endured. Generation after generation, they marched across the frozen continents from the Siberian tundra to the icy fields of North America. They faced blizzards, predators, and the slow, relentless march of time itself. And through it all, they thrived. Their thick fur and layer of fat shielded them from the deadly cold, while their long tusks helped them dig through meters of snow to reach the frozen grass beneath. Their trunks, powerful, sensitive, almost human in dexterity, were their greatest tools, lifting, carrying, and defending with unmatched grace and strength. For tens of thousands of years, the mammoth reigned supreme, the ultimate symbol of endurance, power, and the brutal beauty of nature itself. But every kingdom, no matter how mighty, faces its end. And far beyond the horizon, change was coming. The ice would begin to melt, the humans would spread, and the world of giants would tremble. The hunters rise, the war for survival, the Ice Age roars on. But the balance of nature, once ruled by beasts of muscle and frost, begins to tremble beneath the quiet steps of a new predator, one that hunts with fire, strategy, and purpose. Humans, they came in small tribes, moving silently across the tundra. Wrapped in furs, torn from the very creatures they sought to conquer. They carried sharpened spears, carved from stone and bone, and in their eyes burned a spark that no animal had ever seen before: intelligence. To the mammoths, these hairless creatures were insignificant, fragile shadows drifting across the snow. But humans saw in them something far greater: opportunity. The mammoth was survival itself. Its meat could feed a tribe for weeks. Its bones became homes, tools, weapons. Its hide, thick and strong, became armor against the unrelenting cold. And so, the greatest hunt in Earth's history began. Under the blue-white glow of the Arctic moon, humans stalked the giants. They learned the herd's movements, studied the wind, and waited for the perfect moment to strike. Their spears flew like lightning, piercing through fur and flesh. The ground shook with chaos as mammoths charged, trumpeting in fury and fear. Some humans fell beneath tusks as sharp as swords. Others triumphed, driven by desperation and the will to live. It was no longer a battle of strength, it was a war of minds versus might. Yet, even as the mammoths fled, they did not yield easily. The matriarchs led their herds to safety, forming protective circles around their young. They remembered faces, scents, and dangers. Their intelligence, deep and ancient, rivaled even that of their new enemy. But time is the cruelest hunter of all. The climate began to shift. Glaciers melted, the grasslands shrank, food became scarce. The ice world that had once belonged to the mammoths was slowly dying, and as the land changed, so did their fate. The herds grew smaller. Their ancient migration paths vanished beneath rising waters and forests, and behind every shadow, the hunters followed hungrier, smarter, unstoppable. For the first time in thousands of years, the giants began to lose. The roar of the mammoth, once a song of thunder and dominance, started to fade from the tundra winds, and as the last great herds marched north, into the heart of the storm, the world seemed to whisper a warning. The age of beasts was ending, and the age of man had begun. The last of the giants echoes in the ice. The wind moans across the endless tundra, a sound older than time itself. Where once the earth trembled under the footsteps of titans, now there is only silence and snow. The mammoths, the colossal kings of the Ice Age, are vanishing. Their herds, once mighty enough to reshape the land with every migration, have dwindled to scattered families, weary, starving, but still proud. The great white wilderness that was once their home has begun to fade. The glaciers melt. The rivers rise, and the frozen plains, their kingdom of centuries, are swallowed by the sea. On the edge of this dying world, a single matriarch leads what remains of her herd, a handful of young calves and aging bulls. Her tusks curve like the crescent moon, worn by decades of survival. She has seen storms that could bury mountains, hunters that struck from the shadows, and winters so cold that even breath would freeze in midair. She moves slowly now, searching for grass beneath layers of crusted snow. Her trunk sweeps the ground and finds nothing, only ice. The calves follow closely, their small trunks brushing her side, trusting her even as the world betrays them. Each sunrise feels colder, each night feels longer, but still, she leads because that's what mammoths do, they endure. As the herd crosses a vast frozen lake, the air grows still. In the distance, they see smoke. Humans, the same beings who once hunted them with spears, now gather around fires, telling stories of the giant beasts that roamed the world before man took the crown. To them, the mammoth is already myth, but to this herd, the story isn't over. The matriarch stops, raising her trunk to the wind. She bellows a deep, powerful sound that echoes across the tundra like the heartbeat of the earth. It's not a call of fear. It's defiance, a declaration that they still live. That even as the ice melts and the grass dies, they will not surrender quietly. The echo rolls across the frozen plains, a voice from an age the world is trying to forget. Centuries pass. The herds are gone. The tundra warms. The mammoth disappears from sight, but not from history. Beneath the ice, their bodies sleep in perfect silence. Tusks curved like waves. Skin still clinging to bone. Eyes that once watched the northern lights still frozen open, as if waiting for the sun to rise again. And perhaps, it will. In laboratories across the modern world, scientists hold strands of ancient DNA, whispering of rebirth. They dream of resurrection to bring back the kings of the Ice Age and let them walk once more beneath the northern sky. But even if they never return in flesh, the mammoth's legacy endures in something greater. It lives in every elephant that roams the savannas of Africa. It lives in the stories told by ancient hunters, carved into cave walls thousands of years ago. And it lives in us, in our imagination, in our awe, in the part of our spirit that still longs for a wilder world. The mammoth was not just an animal. It was a memory of power, a symbol of resilience, a living reminder that nature creates wonders that time cannot erase. Even now, when the Arctic winds blow through the ice valleys of Siberia, some say you can still hear it, that deep, haunting trumpet that once shook the frozen earth. A ghostly call from the last of the giants. And in that sound, faint and distant, the mammoth still walks. Through snow and time, through extinction and legend. Immortal, majestic, unbroken.